Kill Complacency, a podcast that inspires growth and intentionality and helps you overcome your greatest obstacles.
My guest today is Keri Kelly. And for those around OKC, they know you as a homeschool mom. They know you as a trail runner. You've recently completed your first 100K. You're a woman who radiates joy, resilience, and faith. And you help people with massaging their muscle recovery and all that good stuff. Last time I saw you was at Dark and Dirty, where it was memorable. But I know you're not just about trail running. You also are all about freedom, family.
It's so funny because trail running is so new to my life. It's been a year and a half since I picked that up. So it's funny to have that be part of my identity now. Yeah, the massage therapy. I've been a massage therapist for over 20 years now, off and on. But even that is funny because I took about 6 years off and didn't really work in that capacity. So even that part, been part of my for so long, it feels fresh again because it's just been the last year and a half I got back into it. And I'm loving it because it's pretty flexible. Homeschooling my kids, I schedule when I want to go in. Some months half of a normal, I won't really amp up the volume, but I'm so motivated to help people. And now that I've picked up running, I can really focus on what ails the runner or what ails the athlete, where the last time I was in the profession was more prenatal and postpartum focused. That was in my early motherhood years. Gave birth to 3 kids, 2 were at home, breastfed for many years, cloth diapers, baby wearing, all of those things. That consumed my life at the time. So when I was doing massage, that's who I wanted to nurture. That's who I wanted to take care of. So now that I'm in this phase of life, it's a whole fresh perspective in the massage world for me. So I've picked up Thai massage, Thai body work. It's called Thai yoga, some people, but it's mobile. So I've been able to go around and perform that, not just in the...
Is that a thing now for your house? Or is that too weird?
No, people do that. Yeah. I used to have someone come to my house. I got a couple sessions of Thai massage and it was amazing. She did some things that I thought, hold on, I got to see what you're doing. I teach my kids how to do. Totally did. And then fast forward down the road years later, and here I've taken the Thai class for myself. I actually just signed up for a new class in Houston in October. So they call it dynamic stretching. There's all kinds of fusions out there. I'm super excited. I just signed up for it late last.
Give me the 5,000 viewpoint on why someone should get a massage. I've never had one outside.
Okay.
I've never had a professional.
Yeah. So for one, we're out in this world doing our profession. One example I use is I'm a hairstylist. You're constantly working with your arms up in the air and your shoulders. And you may feel like this is my body. And then after you get a massage, you just feel more fully connected, wholly connected, a full human.
How's it different from going to a chiropractor?
Full chiropractor works mostly just the joints of the bone. Not only, but most. The massage therapist is going to work on the muscles. But that doesn't mean they are also excluding the bone because you have nerve endings in all of these tissues. So it's not a more traditional way, and it would be like you stay in your lane and the chiropractors. But also there's a lot of science with the nervous system and the nerve ending themselves. Say your sacrum, like that's not a very muscly spot. That's pretty bony, but it still feels amazing to have that scrubbed out. If that makes sense. Your sacrum is the triangle shape from the low part of your back down to your tailbone, and it's triangular. But all of your glute muscles attach bottom side. So it's just a money spot to work. Yeah. But there's also nerve gliding and nerve stretching. Nerve flossing would be another term. If you're experiencing sciatica, your nerve endings are probably trapped up somewhere in a joint where they're coming through. So you can work with your client and floss. And then once you reach that point, then you're going to tension that nerve. So you're working in tandem, and now you're working with each other. So again, it's like magic. If you can help somebody like that, I have a lot of pregnant clients, like carpal tunnel was something that I really saw relief. It feels really incredible to be able to say they've been stretching or resting or whatever to do something that's actually going to bring results, like this chiropractor did for me the other day.
So you've got it back into it last year and a half. You also, we talked in homeschool mom about that. Have you always homeschooled your kids?
Yes, I homeschooled prior to COVID. So that's a common question. I always done. My oldest was just very anxious and food allergies, severe eczema when he was young. So he was just very attached. I feel like we went through a lot of trauma stuff when he was, well, from early on. By the time he was 4 and it was time for him to go to pre-K, I did not see that going well. He just didn't quite adjust quickly. I did not see it being, oh, in a week or two, he's going to be fine. I felt a much more stubborn spirit in him that it would be a fight for a while. I had his younger sister, my middle child. I don't want to wake her up from naps just to go drop him off and pick him up for 2 hours a day. So I decided then I'm just going to homeschool for pre-K or kindergarten. And then I fell into this lovely community of moms, and then they became my good friends, and they became people that I looked up to. And their kids were the kind of this community was just something I wanted to stick with. And then I say my reasons for homeschooling now have changed. So back then it was just kind of like, this is what's convenient. This is what feels good. It became, this is our place and these are our people. And now he just turned 13. And even since he was probably 9, I just feel like he's gone all the time. Like always at sleepovers and always with his friends on the street. Just all the play dates, but I'm just seeing like how much time is flying by. And I'm like, I want this time with my kids. So now it's, the whole perspective, the whole reason for doing it has changed.
Sure.
In this season. And of course, our school district is bursting at the seams. The fastest growing county in Oklahoma, if not the nation. We have pretty good, like, booming. And you can tell that by they're having to widen all the Canadian county. So we're Mustang School District. And so, I don't know. I came from a really small school. I had 18 in my graduating class. It's hard for me to wrap my head around putting my kids in a school system that's large.
Talk to me about how did you get into it? You said you only been doing it for a year and a half. Trail running. Have you always been a runner?
No. I've always hated running my whole life. So if you back up to my middle school, hated it.
3 years I've been.
Oh my gosh.
And I would tell you, I run.
Me too.
Yeah.
I didn't want that identity.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would try, and I was like, this is terrible.
Uh-huh. And it took me a while to realize, but finally as an adult, I'm like, oh, I don't like to do things that I'm not good at.
Because I hear all my friends say it. I would run too, Mark. I just, I'm a runner. But no one's a runner. If you haven't been doing it for a decade or 2 decades, a runner.
You're not born that way. Yeah.
What worked for me, well, I do think you're born to run.
I mean, you don't come out of your childhood.
Yeah.
When you become less active, you don't come out of that phase of life feeling like I know all the ins and outs, I know how to train, I know what I need to be doing. You don't have that like built in. That's just part of your PE class when you're.
And a lot of people who were athletes, a lot of my friends were athletes. They only view running as punishment.
Yeah.
Because that's how coaches used it.
Yes. I listened to a podcast on, I think it was a man and a woman, but they were talking about how it was punishment in PE. Like if you miss a shot or football or whatever, it can be punishment from a parent. That kind of parenting. Military. Like if you're in trouble, you need to do 10 push-ups or whatever. You need to go run a block or running is to lose. None of those things are positive experience tied to running. And for me, people, like I was just made fun of for how I ran, like in junior high. So I became a cheerleader, did not play basketball, I maybe had a summer in softball, but I never felt good at those things. And so I just didn't care to do it. I took a job at Chesapeake and they were really good at encouraging health and wellness. And you got a little bonus if you were active 3 times a week or whatever added to your HSA. They would advertise different 5Ks. My first 5K was called the Run Lucky, like a St. Patrick's Day 5K. They ran through the campus of Chesapeake. If I was training at all, it would have just been on an indoor treadmill. It's a great preparation to run outside on the hill in the weather. Over the years, I did 5Ks. I always did the Memorial 5K. And that just always felt like what I was happy with. Whatever it was, a year and a half ago. It was April 2024. I was invited at the last minute to do a Ragnar in Arkansas, an 8-person relay on some mountain bike trail in Fayetteville. So I fell into this team because they had a couple people drop for injury. And they said, registration's paid. We just need an able-bodied person. And I said, if you're not out to be competitive, I'm your girl. I would love to come and try that. And what's funny is in the years past when I would do a 5K, that's the only time I would really make myself run. It was very goal-driven. Whatever happened that year, this was last year.
How much prep time did you have for that?
4 days. I agreed to do it on a Monday, and Thursday night I was driving to Arkansas.
Stuck.
I ran on this trail. I don't know if it was just the fact that I was away from home for the first time. Stay-at-home mom, essentially. I've worked over the years, but yeah, to get away. Yeah. Slept in a tent. There's just porta potties out there. Like, it was not glamorous, but it was beautiful. You can tell Arkansas takes care of their parks. But when I got that invitation, for some reason, the weeks leading up to it, I had been pushing myself more to make more of a 3-mile, more of my baseline, which is what was weird about that. I don't even have anything to prepare for. What am I doing? And then I got the invite and did it and loved it. And as I was driving home, Oklahoma City was the next weekend, the Memorial was the following weekend. And for some reason, I hadn't signed up. So I wasn't signed up for the 5K yet. So I was driving and I thought, if I did that on mountain bike trails, why can't I do Oklahoma City pavement? Like, it's relatively flat. And so I signed up for that. And then a girlfriend, somebody I just really know on Facebook, she reached out and told me about Jeff Galloway, the interval method. So my very first time to try that was the morning of the half. Like, I had put the app on my phone the night before.
You did everybody.
It was so fun, though.
Yeah.
Like, I was at mile 7 and thought, oh my gosh, I feel amazing. I'm actually going to do this. Like, this is happening. So that's how it unfolded in the beginning. And then, of course, Isaac's trail run. I had done his Hilltop in March of that year, right before the Ragnar. So I had just come to find out who Isaac was. And I reached out to him, and I hate to be that person, but I signed up for this trail run and I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, at Hilltop? Just the 4-mile. Did it with my family.
So we were there that year too, did it?
Uh-huh. I mean, we were there the short little time and then we left. We didn't hang out or we didn't know anybody.
I think Ginger did the 15-mile there that year. I was actually like, I'm not doing trail.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. And so I wasn't going to go, and I went last minute. And I had like a 15-mile run planned. So I ran the 4, but then I just kept running that day. And I was like, this is so bad. And Micah's race, Hilltop, like, it's pretty sweet. 2-mile loop or whatever. Or something.
Because this year I did it. I did 50-miler this year. That sticks out in my head. But his Peak to Creek that he held last September, that was my first ultra.
Okay. So
I went from the Oklahoma City half in
once
April
you started,
to
you
the
just
ultra.
took off.
Yeah, because I was having so much fun. It was like nature combined with exercise, combined with just time alone. And then I would turn on a podcast or an audiobook. I love music, but I just feel like there's so much good information out there and I don't really have the time to listen to it. I don't take a moment, pop in the earbud. It's just constant interruption at home. You don't really get a block of time. So to be out for hours and to have uninterrupted time in a good book, like all of those things were wins and all happening at the same time. Plus I'm doing things I never dreamed that were possible. Didn't ever see that in my future. So that's how it stuck. And then, I went to Glen Rose, Texas and did the 100K in May and signed up for that pretty last minute. I think they had been sold out. I don't know what happened. And I saw that there was a window. I signed up like the week of the event.
Wow.
I know. That's kind of what happened with that massage class I just told you about. She had taken it off her Instagram. I reached out and I was like, let's sold out. She said, I've got like a wait list of 8 people. I was like, okay, I can afford it, and I'm within driving distance, and I just thought I'd follow up on it. And then she reached out again. She's like, last person I reached out to didn't get back to me. Do you want the spot? So I don't know who's gonna watch my kids or like how that's gonna go. I'm just gonna say yes to it, and that's how I feel like the last year and a half has gone. If I feel it, I'm just say yes to it. I just feel like I keep saying yes to the next thing that feels right. If I don't have an interest in it, I'm not gonna say yes. What do you call that? Intuition.
Talk to me about your kids. You take your kids to these races? Some of them?
Yeah. Not the longer ones that would be miserable for them, but like Hilltop last year, Hilltop this year. We all did the 4 mile together. Or I started prior to their start time, but when it was their go time, I waited around so that we could do it together. And then 10 Killer 10K was in November. Callan was 12 and Ada was 10, and they both did the 6 mile. And then my husband and I took turns carrying the youngest one for the 5K loop. He took her for the first loop, and I took her for the second loop. She was asleep. He's 13, 10, and so. But I'm trying to think if they've done any other one. Oh, it was Spark in the Dark that we just did on July 4th.
Yeah. Were you alone at Dark and Dirt?
Yeah, I drove over there. Yeah, just drove over there and got it done, and drove home that night. Oh my gosh, my phone died. My phone battery died. I took a lot of pictures in the rain, and I didn't really think about my phone being so wet because it was raining for that whole hour that I was out there. So I went to go shower at the shout out to True Grit RV Park because they have some really clean showers and bathrooms right next to the trail. Anyway, my phone was saying that water was detected, so it wasn't charging. And I thought, I know how to get home if I can get to Highway 69, not get up headed toward I-40. But I didn't know how to get through Quentin and whatever the towns after you follow. Like, I don't know if I can drive home, and it was late. So a couple of the fellas I had met when I was cheering on people at the finish line, I knew one of them was from Oklahoma City, and I had told them about the showers. I was sitting in the thing wondering how I was going to get home. Should I just stay the night? And they came in, and I said, can I just follow you back to Oklahoma City? Just get me to I-40, and then you can go. And so that's how I got home that night. My phone did come back alive, but I was like, I don't have maps.
We depend on those things.
I can't go into the Dollar General at like midnight and ask for directions on how to get somewhere.
Yeah. Talk to me about your recent trip to Arizona. Solid Green. How was that for your family?
And it was on fire. A lot of people have probably seen the Grand Canyon, but not, well, it was on fire. Actively burning.
A fire out.
Oh, it's still burning. It was July 4th, and we were there the last, maybe July 28th. I think as of August 4th, it was 9% contained. So we were going to Scottsdale for the annual Eczema Expo. The National Eczema Association holds kind of a family conference each year, and they move locations. So if it's on the east or the west coast, we probably can't do it, but if it's in the central, I try to. But yeah, I thought I'm going to make this a road trip, and we need to see the national parks because bucket list for us as a family. So we saw the Petrified Forest in the Painted Desert, saw Grand Canyon for a short time. A couple of the trails we wanted to do were closed for the smoke. Wildfire smoke isn't good for asthmatics or anyone really, but my son and I both have asthma. And what I learned in the nonprofit work that I did before is it's also bad for it. It can actually cause skin rashes, not just for people with asthma, but healthy skin. So, like, yeah, we don't really need to mess around in more concentrated part. But we were able to go west and see the canyon in a clearer way. But yeah, it looked like the way the smoke was. But then we also got to see Walnut Canyon, and that was a national site out in Flagstaff.
Oh yeah, it sounds like so.
We on our way home. It had been on the wish list. Some people had mentioned it, but just rolled with whatever worked, and I didn't think we were going to see it. So we're on I-40, and there was an exit for it, and it was 9 a.m., and that's what time the park was. Like, we got to go. We got to say yes. It's right here.
Sounds like you always do things prompted.
Yeah. Very true.
Do your kids enjoy the running?
Yeah, I think they do. Okay, so here's a story. Hilltop last year, I had signed up my son because, you know, at these races, if you're a paid adult, your child under 15 can run for free. And they still get a shirt, they still get a medal. So they get to do the whole thing. I signed up my son, and then he got a cough that week, maybe a week or two before. But with his asthma, the cough kind of lingers. I was like, I don't want him out running. So Ada said she would take his spot. That's how this happened. She got out there and ran, and she pulled ahead of me on the hill. At the top, she was waiting for me. When I rounded the corner, I thought she was just waiting to catch up with me, and she just started crying. She had fallen and cut her hand open on a rock. And I really didn't know Isaac that well, but I had to tell her something. I said, we're going to go get some first aid and you'll be good. So we get around there and he bandaged her and she made her, she finished the race. And at the end of it, she said, Mom, I feel so strong. And so when she said that, I guess that wasn't even supposed to be her racing that. And so that was her takeaway, was how she felt, was that she was strong. I knew then that was such a confidence builder for me and for them. And they're at such a young age, they're not going to have that voice in their head like you and I did, saying, I'm not a runner. Their identity is more likely to say, I am a runner, or I am a trail runner, or I'm an athlete, or whatever. Elsewhere in life, when people talk to them, they're like, oh, do you play sports? And what they hear is, do you play organized sports? Mm-hmm. They're very active kids. But if they're not actively enrolled in some league, then they learn no. And I'm like, you do. You don't realize what they're at. But as far as running, like, that's not really a seasonal. If somebody says, do you run or whatever, like, you're going to say yes because you've had these experiences. It's not something you have to be a team sport and it's not a spring, fall season. So I hope it's for them. And they're fast kids. And I'm like, don't wait for me. Go out there and see what you can do. And I think one day they will. But right now, they'll give it some gas and then they pull back where they're.
I did at Hilltop 2 years ago. Sakai, he must have been he would have been 6. And Ginger thought she was doing it longer, so she tried to be there when they started. But he just took off. And all my kids did their own thing. But she realized, okay, this is nice little, because he feels comfortable. I don't think he did till a second.
Yeah.
But then he took off. And she was just blown away. Okay, this boy doesn't.
Yeah, even at 6.
And he just, he finished 50 minutes or something. It was decent.
Yeah, Cora's 6 now. So last year she would have been 5. And she's got a few 5Ks and a couple 4-miler races where she's done it all her own. At 10K, we carry her. I'm not counting that one. Yeah. But as a 6-year-old, she knows that, like, she doesn't have to be intimidated by a 5K or whatever, 4 miles. Like, she's done it. So that's just blowing, like, barriers.
Yeah,
barriers that we don't even know.
Because that's a big deal, 3 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not if you've done 100. It is. If you've done 100K, so that 3K is big. We've always done this race called Rescue Me Race.
Uh-huh.
Guthrie. Sakai was 3 or he was probably 4. Our whole family was Ginger's on a bike. It's super family friendly. Yeah, he just got on a bike, and I just tried. I just told him, you go as fast as you want. And there's one hill in there, and I had to push him up. But it was powering him at that. Like, that was as far as he ran.
That's what I love about those races is financially, I wouldn't have paid for 2 or 3 kids to run the race, not knowing if they're going to finish it or not knowing how it's going to go. But now I know I could pay for them to do whatever because they know what.
In that character experience.
Like, they have the confidence, they have the mental knowledge, they're capable. I wouldn't have done that necessarily at this young of an age. If it was my money, 2 kids at a race, $80 or whatever, at a cheap one. So it's awesome that door is open for the parents to then open the door for the kid, and then it compounds down, like, the character.
I did math last year, how much it cost our family.
Uh-huh.
We spent $7,000.
On running?
Between running, shoes, travel,
all of the things.
Airbnb.
Uh-huh.
And I want to trade. That's a lot of.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do we? We're better off because of it. So
we have an older bass. My husband fished for whole life. So anyway, he'd filled a boat, and then we were looking at getting another one for my oldest. And the kids tubing on that thing, they had the best time. And like, just watching them laugh and be out there together we're like, we've got to get another boat. It is a lot of money for our family. Even an old boat.
But those memories.
Exactly. Like we were watching them that day and like how good they were getting along, what they were doing with their imagination out there, just having a good time. So we were like, we have to recreate this.
I will say this. I was having this conversation yesterday with but as Americans, that's exactly what we do. We have a great time with something, so we say we need to buy this. But you guys can go rent it.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't have to.
We had a boat prior, fishing boat, but they weren't at that age.
Like, but I just mean you couldn't go to Lake Eufaula this weekend.
Oh, it would be.
And
yeah, we have thought about that because driving like in Yukon, it's not like we have a lot of lakes to go to drive far to do the fun stuff.
I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives, to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways in which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there.